gentlemen, good afternoon. As you can see, I had some difficulties in terms of domain the English language, so I would to ask you your comprehension with any kind of error or misunderstanding that I could bring. At first, before saying anything on the topic of my presentation, I would like to thank the dear colleagues of the Bangor University and of the Welsh government for this great opportunity to be here with you, learning and exchanging information and experiences. For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. I also need to say, for the records, that the ideas which I bring here are merely personal opinions and do not necessarily represent the position of the Ministry of Finance or the government of Brazil. To start, I need to say that Brazil cannot be considered as an example in terms of dispute resolution, despite the fact that we have shown clear progress, especially in the last 2 decades. In this period, we created legislation to support the actions in that field, and recently we started a wide discussion to improve it, which is still open. But when we compare ourselves with other countries, it's clear our need for improvements. And my limitation in use the English language, it's drives me very anxious, because I heard a lot of things which I want to, how can I say, to support properly, and things that I want to react, but my poor English stops me. So I need to show the Brazilian case to you. In Brazil, when we have in a dispute citizens or enterprises, there are 2 possible ways to analyze the question and decide. Normally, we have the normal judicial system. But we had, how can I say, 2 other options. The first, it's mediation and conciliation. Normally, all the parts involved in a dispute choose a mediator who has the power to conduct a dialogue between all the parts. But the final decision will come from this dialogue. And it's an almost informal process. You can sign a statement and establish the name of the mediator, the process that he will need to use to get to a point to organize the environment to the dialogue between the parts, and the final decision will be accepted by all. But mediation, it's, how can I say, a process of dialogue. Normally, when you come to a dispute, it's difficult to establish some kind of dialogue. It's why we need a mediator. But in some situations, this not works. And so we had another option, more, how can I say, formal, the arbitration. We had a law since September of 1996 regulating the process. And it's quite the same, the mediation process, but the main difference is that the referee that all the parts choose has the power to decide. And it's a mandatory thing. You need to sign a previous statement saying that you agree with the person or persons that will serve as referee or referees. You need to establish the process of analyzing and give the final solution for the dispute. And you need to accept the final decision. In these two cases, normally we had some kind of further dispute in judicial system when one or other members of the other part of the dispute believes that the rules was not followed by the referee, but not in terms of the merit of the decision. But unfortunately, these two mechanisms are little used in Brazil. The people don't know exactly if they had these options beyond the normal judicial system. And unfortunately, the mechanisms are underutilized. But we are trying to conduct information campaigns to improve the utilization of the dispute resolution process, the alternative dispute resolution process, mediation, conciliation, and arbitration. And I think that the most important step we did in the last 2 years was the recent creation of the National School of Mediation and Conciliation, which, through which we think that we can form people to act as referees and mediators, and we can spread the mediation culture in Brazil. But I had, how can I say, not a good news. Unfortunately, when we have disputes involving citizens or companies against the government, the situation is far different. In Brazil, when the government is involved in some kind of dispute, the most accepted legal interpretation states that only judicial system can give a final solution. The result of that is 51% of lawsuits in Brazil involve the government in some way, in local, state, or federal government. Our judicial system are completely full of process like that. And so this is a very important challenge for us, create dispute mechanisms, dispute resolution mechanism that relieves our judiciary system. But what can we do in this situation if the legal system says, oh, it's not possible to use alternative dispute resolutions process? In fact, we had a great surprise in the last 2 or 3 years. It's not exactly a surprise. We start to use some innovations to trying to accelerate the process to procure some of the most important civil engineering constructions that we need to do to the World Cup and to the Olympics. And we used a lot of small innovations that you use here in Europe and United States, and we are inspired with our reverse auction process, electronic reverse auction process that has almost 10 years of utilization and with great success. And one of the main innovations that we did was a very, how can I say, a very simple strategy. we did a reversion between the moment to submit the technical qualification, which is a kind of bureaucratic step we had in our process, in our public procurement process, and the moment when the people present the bid price, economic proposal. Our normal procurement system says that for great constructions, you need to qualify the possible suppliers before they present the economical proposal. And in 2004, the World Bank did a research named Brazil Country Procurement Assessment Report, evaluating the procurement process in Brazil. And in other words, they said Brazil is too transparent. You need a little less transparency, because everybody that take part in the procurement process had the opportunity to see all the documents involved in the process. And when we had a very bureaucratic situation before the presentation of the economic proposal, you start a fight between the potential suppliers who try to eliminate the other. And normally the process, a process of a great, how can I say, a great construction procurement could take months or years or never end and start again and other things like that, which are enormous loss of time and money for the taxpayers. So the reversion, and the other situation is that you can present appeals any moment. And this creates a very great problem for us. So when we did the reversion, first we have the economical dispute, the price dispute. So we find a winner. And so we ask the winner, we need some papers, we need that. And all the participants know in advance which paper will be asked. And there is only one moment to present your claims. These two simple things did a great difference in the final result. Preliminary data are very encouraging. In 45% of competitions, which is the most complex procurement process that we have, there was some kind of appeal in 45%. In proceedings conducted within RDC, the short, the nickname that we gave to the new these innovations, the numbers falls to 6%. It's a major improvement. But we think we need more time to accumulate greater volume of information, because we fear that we can reduce the claims in the process, in the process to find the supplier, and the problems with dispute could go to the implementation of the contract. So we need more time to evaluate this situation. At first we feel that this strategy has a great power to improve our process. But we need more time to understand the other possible consequences that we can have. Well, to summarize what I bring to you today, it's we are not exactly in Brazil solving our disputes in pool procurement by dialogue. We are avoiding the emergence, trying to avoid the emergence of disputes. It's, how can I say, it's an unexpected outcome of the innovations that we used at first only to accelerate the process of finding a supplier, a contractor to do the construction. But we are seeing that we have some very interesting outcomes, and we will follow the situations to get more, how can I say, to get more confident in these results. And for those who want to know more about arbitration in Brazil and mediation, could access these two websites. The first website, the Brazilian Arbitration Committee, they had a web page in English with very usable information for you. Thank you very much.